Alright, so in today's video, I wanted to talk about one of the more pressing matters in New World that have had a few topics come out about over the last week in regards to target lock. Now, if you don't know, New World has always been an action combat game since its launch in 2021, with a fairly big player base, and ever since then, it's obviously lost a lot of players due to, well, its obvious issues that over time gradually did get addressed to a certain extent. And players still played the game. There was still a very niche, and there is still a very niche community behind this game, including me, that enjoy the game's combat for what it is. It has a fantastic combat or action combat experience, and is again why a lot of people like me and others still play the game, and is why it's always kept a small but dedicated community over the years. I think, we sit around average 10 to 15k, which is not great, but it is a respectable small community that has kept thriving. And whenever we do get our big DLCs, which happen once a year, such as Brimstone Sands being the most successful, the Elysian Wilds, and recently the console release with the New World Eternum rename, we had big increases in player count, but was shortly followed by a decline as the developers usually fail to keep retention, and that is part due to the cycle of New World and its developers struggling to maintain a consistent release or schedule with content. But this comes to today's topic where we talk about aim lock. Aim lock or target lock is effectively a new mechanic they added with New World Eternum to help control the players in PvP and PvE. Now, I actually don't mind this feature in PvE, but the problem is for PvP. New World has always been praised by its community for its action combat, its requiring of aiming, and basically mechanical ability to look around and actually have game sense and know what you're doing. But with this update in New World Eternum, they add the feature to use lock-on on controller and keyboard and mouse, both in PvP and PvE, which effectively has in turn, in an extent, made the game a tab target game. A majority of players like me and a lot of other keyboard and mouse players will still swear by not using target lock. Other than this video, I usually never use target lock, as it is against my belief. I have enjoyment finding myself actually aiming at my target, and is what drew me to New World. If I wanted to play a tab target game, I would fuck off, but I don't, and that is why I wanted to make this video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing a gameplay with getting 30 kills in 13 or 14 minutes using target lock, and I've never used it before, and how easily I barely had to try. Now, I'm a Musket main. I have 6,000 hours on the Musket. There's no denying there is some bias in this video, but I want to point out that I was able to easily match my kills by aiming. So I usually average around 20 to 30 kills a game in Outpost Rush, which is the matchmaking game mode of New World, where it's a 20v20 battleground. I usually average that score. But with aim lock or target lock, the built-in mechanic they added, I was able to easily match that and average that for a whole night of streaming in Outpost Rush using this, again, target lock built into the game. And I barely had to try him, obviously didn't have to aim, and you'll see throughout this Outpost Rush gameplay how much of a joke it is, and it's taking away the very identity of what people loved about New World. New World was always praised by its community for its action combat, and that's why we all stuck around. And that very essence, that very identity that people loved is being stripped away by this mechanic, and I hope the developers see how much of a mistake that is. And this isn't to say, hey, just rip it out, because, console players, it's not fair towards them because they've been playing with it, so how do we address that problem? Personally, I've always never had a problem with aim assist to an extent. There is a line where aim assist starts to become too far, especially in games like Call of Duty, but aim assist in other games, such as Battlefield, I've never really had as much of a problem with, as it isn't as harsh. So, with that said, I want to show you this gameplay and talk about some more key points. So, first off, Musket is now projectile. If you haven't played in New World in a long time, Musket has a projectile. So does Bow, but Blunderbuss doesn't, which is one of the other weapons, and is still hit scan. Of course, I'm using Musket in this video, but I can still hit a majority of my shots using this target lock by just moving around and making sure they're always running in a vertical or diagonal line, so I ensure that aim lock effectively does all of the work for me. Which is kind of sad that this is how the game works now, and especially why over the past few, months, and if you're playing New World, you might have noticed range players hitting a lot of their shots is due to the controller target lock, not the keyboard and mouse target lock, being stronger than its keyboard and mouse counterpart. For some reason, we don't know why, there is a straight up bullet and arrow magnetism feature on controller target lock. This is on console and PC, where even at the max target lock range, which is 50 meters, you will see a literal arrow curve and go to the lead of where the enemy will be. This testing was done by Mambi, who is a YouTuber. I'm going to shout him out here because he did a fantastic video showcasing how this can be abused and how it is fundamentally breaking the game. In my Outpost Rush gameplay, I'm only using the keyboard and mouse target lock, which is still very dumb and very OP, but I didn't even have the controller target lock, which would be a whole different story. Now you ask yourself, but you have to use controller. That is not necessarily true. If you played FPS games for a long time like me, there are certain tools that skirt the meaning of your input being a controller, and that effectively manipulate the game into thinking you're using a different input, but you are actually using that other input. So there is a tool, I'm not going to name it here, it is a tool that I don't want to mention because I don't want people to use it, that effectively tricks the game into thinking you're using a controller, but you're still using a keyboard and mouse. And what this means is that you will have the movement and the aim, the flicking and the responsiveness of keyboard and mouse with that controller target lock. This is very bad. As we've mentioned, the controller target lock has arrow and bullet magnetism. On top of that, now that keyboard and mouse player on PC also has the movement and reflexes of the keyboard and mouse, which is incredibly unfair and is effectively cheating. The problem with this is it's undetectable. It is a built-in feature by AGS, which causes it to be a problem in the first place, and is fundamentally, again, ripping the identity of New World out of the game. So, we're almost halfway through the entire gameplay, and I'm already at 18 kills, which is funny, and that is the other point. I barely had to try. This was me literally talking to chat on Twitch. I stream there most days. Coming up with Season 7 soon, we'll be streaming a lot more as well. And I just wanted to, showcase how dumb this is. You'll see these random snaps where I don't even know what I'm shooting half the time, but I will just get a kill, because the target lock built into the game is that strong. It's literally a built-in legal aimbot that the developers have given everyone and enhanced for controller players, which is incredibly stupid. I would like to see target lock be removed entirely from PvP, as it is, again, taken away the identity of the game that people love. And I would also like to see aim assist maybe be strengthened for console controller. If you're on a controller on PC, I feel you don't need the stronger aim assist, as you have the tools to go with keyboard and mouse. Even on console, you have the ability to go with keyboard and mouse if you want. But again, I believe that target lock should be entirely removed from PvP. I don't mind it as much in PvE, but as I said, it's taken away the whole identity of what people loved this game for. With that said, I'll leave you with the rest of the gameplay, and I'll see you in Season 7 for whatever shit show that's going to be. Peace. Let's go that annoying weapon back to the meta. Yeah. What the? That beer just fucking went ape shit, man. The VG artifact best for musket range play? Yeah. Yeah. You get the best damage. Putting medium and heavy in there should still hit like a truck, yeah. I'm full glass cannon, I'm basically 1 to 2 shot to miss builds. Oh damn, we're triple capped. Oh, we're locked though. Hang on, we could still pull it back. Did you throw a grenade on yourself? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just using, lock-on, I think. It must be something to do with the lock-on tracking with grenade. I don't know. But is Musket easier to hit than bow? I think so. I think bow is currently harder in the current meta, yes. This is with the target lock, yeah. I have to get into the console players. Bro, that was the most brain-off thing OPR I've played.